Hold up.
Hello, everyone, and welcome. I hope that you guys are doing great.
Hello.
Hi.
Hi there. Assalamu alaikum.
Hello.
Hi.
All right. So here we have great. So I think we should get started. I would like to say welcome to everyone who is watching now. You can share the live discussion with your friends. You can also comment and ask questions to our distinct parts of the world, from Lebanon, from Brazil. We have two people here from Brazil. We have another one from our friend Tosan is from Tunisia. Of course, I would like to thank you so much for accepting my invitation. I would like really to thank you and for not being hesitant to first accept my invitation. Once they said, well, there is a discussion, then you said yes. Thank you so much. You are always willing to cooperate and to talk and to share your thoughts with us. Thank you so much again. I would like also to thank مبادرة شباب فاعل خير. This is a local association in Morocco in partnership with AZIZ. It's also a local association in Casablanca for providing us with the platform through which we are live now. I would like to thank them very much, and they would like to welcome everybody on board. So without any further ado, I would like to present my guest speakers, my wonderful guest speakers. I'm not going, of course, to present them as usual. I will give them the floor to present themselves. I think I would like to start with Sarah. Please go ahead.
Hello, everyone. This is Sarah Kassab. I'm from Lebanon. I've been teaching English language for the past 3 years. I've graduated from the university with a BS in biology and a teaching diploma. And I've been working with a local NGO here, Teach for Lebanon, which is its mission and vision to provide equal education for all children in the community. And thank you for welcoming me here.
Thank you so much, Sarah. You are most welcome. Now we would like to move on to Mariana. Go ahead, please.
Hello, everyone. Well, it's a pleasure to be here with you. Thank you very much, Mr. Aziz, for the invitation. I'm sure it's going to be a very nice talk, and I will learn a lot from all of you. As you said, my name is Mariana. I'm from Brazil. Brazil is a big country, so I really like to say that I'm from the northeast of Brazil. I'm from Bahia, and I have an undergraduate degree in English and Portuguese languages and literature. I also hold a master's degree in language and cultures and a PhD in literature and culture. I have been teaching English for around 19 years now, and currently I work at the Federal Institute of Bahia. I teach English as a foreign language for young adults and teenagers, and I think that's a little bit of me. Thank you very much.
Mariana, thank you so much for being here today. I would like to move on to Susan. Please, the floor is yours.
Thank you. Good evening, everybody. I'm very happy to be with you this evening, and I'm very honored to be among you. My name is Susan. I'm from Tunisia, North of Africa. I've been teaching English for 20 years now, and I taught in middle school. Actually, I'm teaching in secondary schools. I also teach adults for conversational English and business English. I am really fan of CPD and always taking part in online seminars and learning events. I am also a Microsoft Innovative Educator expert and a Microsoft trainer and a member of Between English Forum, if you hear about it. So here we are here together. We're going to start the journey of discussion and conversation about CPD. I'm very happy to be with you, and I hope to collaborate in further online seminars. Thank you.
Thank you so much. Thank you for being here, Susan. You are most welcome. I would like to move on to Shushan or Shushanik. right?
Shushan will be fine.
Shushan, which is easier to spell. Please go ahead.
Thank you so much, Mr. Aziz. Well, I'm Shushan. I am a linguist from Armenia. I'm a specialist of English and French, and I teach at Russian Armenian University here. I've been teaching English for 10 years, 7 of which were in my university, which is my alma mater. So I teach at the same university which I've graduated from. And I also teach, interestingly, linguists, which is very important for me because then I can go on developing myself professionally. I am doing my PhD in languages and learning languages, interested in languages. And I have to say that I'm super happy to be part of this incredible team internationally, and most importantly, people who are so enthusiastic about what they are doing. So thank you, everyone, and thank you in particular, Mr. Aziz.
Thank you so much for being here, Shushan. Last but not least, our wonderful guest speaker, Mr. Gabriel. Go ahead.
Okay, thank you. Thank you, Aziz. Thank you for this opportunity. Thank you for having me here. And well, my name is Gabriel, or you can call me Gabriel. I think it sounds better in English. Well, I live in Sao Paulo, Brazil. Sao Paulo is in the southeast of the country. Well, I live in Sao Paulo. Well, I've been living here for over 20 years. I'm a Mexican born. So I've been living here in Brazil for over 20 years. It's a lot. But well, I'm a psychologist. I am a psychotherapist. And I also work as a coordinator at Super Teacher Language School here in Sao Paulo. And I've been an English and Spanish teacher ever since I've moved to Brazil. And I can tell you that being a psychologist and a teacher at the same time has given me, you know, the best experiences in my life. It's being a psychologist has given me the opportunity to, you know, to see people, to understand people. And I understand that teaching is all about passion, it's all about understanding, and most importantly, it's about self-knowledge. So that's it. Thank you very much again.
Thank you for being here. Definitely, I agree that you know, being a psychologist is really helpful in dealing with your students. Of course, as a part of the teacher training, is supposed to know more about his or her way of thinking, attitude, so on and so forth. Of course, guys, as you know that our discussion is here today about the importance of continuous professional development. Educators, or here specifically because we are language teachers, right? We are going to mainly focus on that part. Of course, as you know that CPD, or continuous professional development, or professional development in general, refers to the continued training and education of individual in regard to his or her career. Of course, the goal of CPD is to keep you updated as a teacher, as an educator, right? And to equip you with new skills, right? To deal with your own, or to brush up on your practices. And this is really required. This is a requirement from the teacher. So my first question is here, our traditional question is why CPD matters. Why do you think, in your opinion, why this is very important for a teacher or an educator in general? I would like to hear from Shushan. Please go ahead.
Thanks for giving me the floor, Aziz. So actually, there are many reasons. There is a multitude and a sea of reasons that can be addressed. I would be saying that if we teach and we don't learn, then we are two-faced. We're not doing what we should, because teaching and learning are a spectrum. And if you are a teacher who is not improving on their knowledge, then you're losing your credibility as a teacher. And in a way, why should I trust my teacher if my teacher is not learning on their own? And that's the principal reason. Let's say it would be a shame not to go on learning.
Right. Thank you so much. And of course, here I come to Susan, and we were talking about, of course, professional development and its importance of course, you mentioned that, and they said, of course, when we were talking that professional development keeps you professionally alive. So, to what extent do you agree or disagree with this statement?
Well, actually, I strongly believe that CPD is the way to keep teachers fully alive. To really, when we are a part of an online seminar, it's like a life for us. It's a method to breathe in a way. First, it's to maintain your skills, and secondly, is to enhance them and boost your career ahead. When you are really, for example, learning something new, especially to develop your teaching methods related to what is really happening nowadays in the changing trends in technology, maybe something like that. And of course, when you are updating, that really goes hand in hand with the same pace of the learning. I mean, the learners of the 21st century, of course, they are developing new skills. They are not the same as the learners of before. So we should really, it's something for me, it's a must to develop, enhance, to improve our teaching methods. And this can be done basically when we are a part of a CPD, taking courses, taking online seminars. And the same thing, what we are doing now, when we are discussing now, we are exchanging ideas, we are learning from each other, by the way.
Right. Thank you so much, Susan. And of course, I totally agree with you that we are not, of course, we are dealing with 21st century students. And as I said earlier, I don't know, I don't remember if I said it or not, but we are not dealing with robots. We are dealing with students. Students are, which each different generation, of course, and each generation is unique and it's different. And we should, as teachers, in order to cope with them, we should, of course, equip ourselves with the new skills and of course, new ideas on teaching. Of course, these ideas are related to our related to students, related to anything that has to do with our teaching practices. And the same question is going to be, and the same question for you, Gabriel. Why does it matter for you to engage in CPD activity?
Well, I would like to speak from this psychological perspective, and I'm afraid my answer is quite long, but there are several reasons why, definitely several reasons, but I want to highlight three. The first one is the situation that we have living recently, which is this pandemic. This pandemic has taken all teachers, students, and schools by surprise and unprepared. So many teachers have had to develop new skills, and we are not talking about just academic skills. We are talking about basic skills such as how to make a video, how to edit a video, how to show themselves in front of the camera. So these things require some kind of preparation and flexibility that we don't find specifically in books. It's all about personality. It's all about what you have to offer. No, this is one thing. The other thing is it has to do with what Stausen has said, is that even before this pandemic, we have been living in a different reality. I'm pretty sure that the way we learned is totally different from the way people are learning nowadays. Today, we have much more technology and we have new situations. And in psychotherapy, we have seen different situations, different problems that we didn't used to see in the past, different kinds of anxiety, depression. So it means that we are dealing with a really new reality. And in this new reality, the old solutions are not enough. We need to look for new solutions, to learn more about these new solutions. And the third situation that I can highlight is that sometimes it seems that all the skills or all my teaching skills are not enough, because we learn a lot and it is really important to be updated. But it seems that there's something that escaped us. Like we have really good skills, teaching skills. We are prepared for that. But sometimes when we are in some situation, it seems that our skills are not good enough, or some skills that work perfectly with some students, some environments, they don't work in different environments at all. And we are still the same person. We are still the same people. So there's something that is escaping us. So for me, these three situations are, like a really good example to say, yes, we need CPD constantly, and we cannot stop. This definitely keeps us alive, as you said before.
So much, Gabriel. Of course, we know that we all agree that CPD is not really easy. Of course, you need to have that on behalf on your time, on your own personal time. Okay, of course, you spend your day teaching, and probably in the weekends you want to go and have fun. But what makes you say, well, let's go to this conference or this seminar? And this question is directed to Maria. What makes you go? What really ignites you and makes you go to that conference and not have a good weekend by the beach or in a cafe or visit your family, something like that?
Yes. So I was thinking about what Gabriel said, and I truly believe that he's completely right. When we think about professional development, we must keep in mind what is it? And professional development is about promoting our skills as teachers to better achieve our students' needs. But this is the million question. What are our students' needs? Do we know what they need? And it changes a lot. It's going to vary from culture to culture. It's going to vary from country to country, from region to region, from school to school, from student to student. We must know who our students are, where they live. We need to have a little bit of their background. And it's not very simple. It's not very easy, because as the answer is going to change in space, it's always going to vary in time too. As Gabriel said, the school I used to study is very different today, because the world we live in is very different today. And while Shushan was talking, I remember a Brazilian writer, Guimarães Rosa. He says that the master is not the one who teaches, it's the one who suddenly learns. This is our process. It's not about getting there, it's about walking. And we're going to walk a lot, but it's going to be beautiful, because we're going to see things happen. We're going to see our students blossoming. We're going to see that they're doing a difference. And this is what we must do as teachers. We must make a change in their lives, in our students' lives, and we also must make a change in the society, in the community we live in. This is why we sometimes stop going to beaches or doing something fun to study, because we grow up with that. And we grow up not only professionally, we grow up emotionally, mentally, personally. We're going to become different people in this path, right? So I used to think about the way I used to learn. It doesn't work for my students anymore. So what am I going to do? Am I going to do the same things again? So I must change. And I think that this is why it matters a lot, because we need to do our role as teachers, which is being a difference in the community, doing something to make the world a better place.
Exactly. It's not only related to teachers, but it's related to, of course, professionals in general. And here, as we are teachers, we are going to only talk about teachers, right? So, Sarah, of course, I asked Mariana what really pushes you and makes you willing to go for CDP activity during your weekends or maybe your holidays instead of just enjoying your time. The floor is yours. Yes, you can go ahead.
Everything that everyone said is true, and it's applicable in so many contexts. And we live in a dynamic world. We cannot separate ourselves as teachers from the community that we live in. So what is a dynamic world that is constantly changing? The needs of the community, the needs of the society that we live in, the needs of our students. So we need to understand that it keeps changing with time. And as teachers, we need to adapt with new skills, with new methodologies to teach our students, to get them ready to go outside to the world. So, and also we need to understand that we're not only teaching textbooks, we're equipping our students with skills, we are empowering them, we are encouraging them to use everything that we are teaching them to take it to the outside world. So how do we do that? And what Mariana said made me reflect back when I was as a student. So I was thinking, and usually when I teach my students, and when I learn new strategies, new styles, I would think back that I didn't take that as a student, and there are certain skills that I see are missing that I didn't take that as a student back in my time, even though I needed them right now. So it was my responsibility to improve myself, to improve my skills. And it's our responsibility as teachers to fill in the gaps that were once back in time. So when we learn more, when we engage more in CPD, we understand what teaching is really about, and our students need to adapt to this changing dynamic world that we live in currently.
Exactly. Thank you so much, Sarah. And here I would like to ask Shushan. Of course, we have been talking now about the importance and why CPD matters. I would like to know about the factors that push teachers or educators in general to opt for CPD. I can give you an example. For example, I want to learn more about my students. So it is the factor here is the changes in the learner's psychology, right? Students of yesterday are not students of today or tomorrow. Of course, I need as a teacher to go and learn and read more or attend any conference or seminar about this issue to know more about my students' psychology. Yes, the floor is yours to answer the question.
Thank you so much, Aziz. Actually, I have some additions to what my colleagues were saying, because if this was a list where I could put my signature, you would have my signature under every single word, or a like under every single word in a more modern language, since we're talking about students of today. Now, actually, there is an idea that I'm thinking about a lot. I'm always, when I'm not in the good mood or I'm not in the best shape of teaching, I ask myself, would I like to be present at my own class? And unfortunately, the answer is sometimes no, if I can confess it publicly, and that's where I can work backwards from. And in line with what I've been saying, it's a skill that we need that is largely overlooked. I mean, I go to a lot of CPDs, I don't see that a lot. It's called empathy, a magical word that we don't always have, and I think Gabrielle could relate to it professionally, that we really need to cultivate it. I don't know how, but there are some teachers who distance themselves so much from some educators who are so astray from the real educational process that in a way they are losing the tie with the students, which is so really important. And you were saying, Mariana, that we don't know what exactly our students need. I think that if you're thinking about what they need, then you already are very close to deciphering what they really need. And from that perspective, that's a magical way of thinking. So the driving force behind CPD is, first of all, for me, personal and professional. I don't want to waste my students' time. If they're there with me during this period of time, I want to be of value to them, but first of all, within a human capacity, if possible. That means if the method is not cruel and you're not shouting at them for them to be able to learn. But that's what we need in CPD, personal and professional. But we, I think, are ignoring or overlooking that component of being human in the first place.
Right. Thank you. So, so for Shushan, it's really personal. She wants to be there, right? Not to be just like any other teacher, an ordinary teacher. She wants to be remembered, of course. She wants to have to touch her students' life, of course. Here, I would like to ask Sosan. Yes, the same question. What is the force, or maybe what is the factors or driving force, as Shushan puts it, behind teachers opting for TDP or CPD? Yes.
Yeah. Actually, personally, as I told you before, I strongly believe in improving my skills. I mean, maintaining my skills and then improving them. Why to improve my skills is for the betterment of my student skills. If I improve my skills, my students will improve. If I take a course, I will practice what I learn in classroom. I will not get the certificate and put it on the wall, you know. I will practice what I learn with my students. That is very important for me, that my students know that I care for them. If they know that I care for them, they will do their best. They will show me that they are caring, of course, that they know that I do efforts for them to improve their skills. So for me, it's like a chain. It's linked to each other. Students and learner and teachers, they are linked to each other. And of course, if we believe really in this, the learning objectives will be fully carried out, and we will, of course, we will achieve this 21st century skills that we want to install in our students for nowadays.
Exactly. Thank you so much, Susan. And yes, it's wonderful to see that teachers' efforts in order to brush upon their skills. But there is one comment by teacher Abdelali El Faqir. He said, educators are in dire need of official, and he capitalized the word official, professional continuous development. Let me put it differently. Of course, teachers make their own efforts, they pay their own money, but of course, their institutions should have a say in this. They are not teachers, of course, as we know, they are not very well paid, at least in my country. I don't know about yours. But
we're fine.
Is it a worldwide phenomenon? It's so okay. Then we are on the same boat. Okay, so I would like to ask Sarah. Yes, do you think that, of course, I would like to ask Sarah first question, which is going to drive me to my second question. Do you work for a public or private school?
It's not a. It's more of a private school, actually.
It's government. Is it a government school?
No, it's not government.
Right. Okay. Non-government. And do you think that your institution should really encourage you through these CPD events and activities? Of course, you are not only to blame if you don't go to conferences and seminars, right? The other part, of course, should be also, the blame should be also put on them. What do you think about this?
Sometimes organizations or schools, whether they are private or public, they put the responsibility on the teacher to develop themselves. So they would ask the teacher, what professional development did you attend? Even though sometimes they don't offer them, especially if we're talking about, I don't know, in other countries, but in public sectors, it's really weak, that the professional development, they don't really invest in it. So they require teachers to put on their CV what professional developments did you attend. So that really puts the pressure on the teacher. I should really attend, but then some of them costs money. How can I develop myself? How can I balance my time between correcting exams, preparing for my students, and then go attending? So it's really a dilemma for the teachers. But some teachers really put the effort to attending the CPD. They really want to improve themselves. They really want to give the best for the students. So it's a bit of a dilemma to, it's the responsibility of the school to keep the teachers, to make sure that the teachers are updated on continuous period of time. But since we lack that, like I would really encourage teachers. There are many like online courses, workshops online, especially during this period.
Individual initiatives, right?
Yes, especially during this period, during this pandemic. I think everyone, we're just aware that we really need to support each other. We really need to help teachers all over the world to improve their skills. So right now, I think they're a bit aware of to provide these things online for the teachers, easily accessible. They don't require you to pay money. free online workshops, free online courses, webinars. So I would really encourage teachers right now to engage in these, because they really need to prepare for themselves for the next period. Because I guess right now somehow we saw the struggle of actually preparing for our students. So, and we are unaware of what's coming next. Is it going to be a hybrid? Are we going back to classrooms? Are we only depending on technology? How do I deal with my students who have been sitting for a long time and at home? What did they face? How is it their like mental status? And how is mine also? Because if the teacher is not feeling okay, then they won't be able to educate their students. So I think I would really encourage everyone just to go online and like take as much courses as you can. Prepare yourself for the next. I guess.
And of course, there should be. Thank you, Sarah. And of course, there should be an initiative from our establishments. At least they could pay for us some of the courses, because most of the CPD conferences and seminars we go to, I'm not going to say most of them, but it's all about theory. Theory which teachers don't really need in their classrooms. They could have it in books and whatever. You know, we just go to YouTube and just type whatever you want, and then you get thousands of videos that theorize about something that you are interested in. I would like to ask Gabriel the same question. I would like to hear from you. What really drives you, and why do you opt for CPD instead of just enjoying your life, you know, and keep yourself busy with students' papers and with your lesson plans, so on and so forth?
It's always this feeling of there's something lacking. There's something that I need to learn about. It's something like, okay, it seems that the more I learn, the more I think I need. And this is what drives me to continuous professional development. And at the school I work for, at Superior Teacher Language School, we take it seriously. Sometimes we were, like wondering, okay, we provide our teachers with workshops about, how to work with videos, how to work with reading activities. But, sometimes there's this part of, this human part that is lacking, we need to understand about how humans are. It's easy for us, when we learn a lot about theories, about methodologies, to forget that in order to apply these methodologies and in order for them to be successful, we need to understand people. And we need to learn about ourselves. And that is really important. We need to learn how we react in some situations. I want to give you an example. We've recently had this workshop about how to deal with difficult situations or unexpected situations, just because of the pandemic situation. And the message that we wanted to give to our teachers is, okay, we can spend time and money in courses, academic courses, but if we don't work on our personal issues, things won't work. I think that there is this lack of human factor sometimes in this professional development. I also think that we have this lack of self-knowledge, and I want to give you an example. As a coordinator, I have seen some teachers, when they come for a job interview, and they have all the qualifications that you can think of, and really good qualifications. And when you ask them, okay, can you describe yourself? They say, okay, I'm very patient, I'm perfectionist, I'm, the best quality.
Story of our lives.
Yeah, which is normal. It's okay. But something happens when they face a group, when they are teaching something totally different. It turns out that they are not that patient as they said. They are not that, like perfectionist. And, you say, okay, did they lie during the job interview? I don't think so. I think that many of them, they don't have this self-observation. They don't have this self-awareness. It's better to say. They have this, what we call reflected awareness, which is they think they are what other people think about them. So it's very superficial. And when they face a really difficult situation or unexpected situation, the real them comes up, and they don't know how to deal with it. So this is very important for me. Help teachers understand that part, because that will make a huge difference in their teaching skills. And this is, well, again, this is what drives me to, to search for new courses, new, workshops, to understand this part myself. No?
Right. Thank you so much, Gabriel. Thank you. It was wonderful. You are always, it's nice to have you here because, you are always talking about things from a psychological perspective, and this is a great thing. It's much appreciated, of course, to hear from you. Of course, here I would like to hear about from Mariana. There are different things that push teachers to opt for professional development, continuous professional development. As I said earlier, the changes in learners' psychology, latest trends in language teaching, learning pedagogies, of course, the integration of IT, information technology in the classroom, as well as knowledge explosion in the world. These are some of the factors that really, as a teacher, drive me and push me to go for continuous professional development. What about you, Mariana?
Okay. I always remember an author that we have here in Brazil, Paulo Freire, and he says that no one.
Oh, it's by the way, my favorite one. I have learned a lot from this person. I have learned a lot. Yes, please go on.
Okay, thank you. He's great, and he says that no one is born fully formed. It's our experience that makes us who we are, and that the role of the teacher is not to make the student what I want him to be, but the best version of himself that he can be. So in this process, we do our best. Sometimes we do not do everything that should be the perfect thing, but we really try to do our best. As you said, the world's changing, our students are different. Every school I have been through is different from each other. And being an EFL teacher in Brazil is not very simple, I would say, because we are a big country, we are a huge country, and a monolingual country, and sometimes our students don't see the need of learning a foreign language. It's been changing with technology and the integration with the internet, but it was like that some years ago. They didn't see, why do I need a foreign language? Here in Brazil, I can do everything with Portuguese. Then to try to make a difference in the mind of the students, and we have I work in a public school, and we have crowded classes with 30 to 40 students, and how can I teach a foreign language with this situation? So I always try to keep in touch with the latest trends in the teaching learning methodology, because I think that if we get stuck in old methodologies, we are going to get old results. If I want a new result, I have to do something new. And how can I access these new methodologies? I don't have them. The ones I used to have in college were okay, were good for that time. Some are still okay, some don't work anymore. So when we go to CPD, to professional development, we learn these new trends, and it's going to help. It has been helping a lot. I have seen some methodologies that I didn't use to use 10 years ago, 15 years ago, and that I do now, and that I see the difference. I see my students are learning, they're doing their best because I'm doing my best. So it's been okay. In Brazil, it's a very, how can I say, diverse way of teaching. We have public schools, we have private schools, we have language centers. So it's going to vary a lot from teacher to teacher. And sometimes we do have some support from the government to do our CPD. It's not easy. Sometimes it's not about funding, about money. It's just My school allows me to go, and this is okay because some schools don't. And then,
Yeah.
yeah, we get happy with the things that we have. I have been able to be part of two programs that Brazilian government provided us. One in London with the Institute of Education in London, and it was fully supported by the government. And one in the USA, the Professional Development for English Teachers.
I would like to just sorry to interrupt you here. I would like to ask maybe Susan, because you talked about the programs which are examples of types of CPD activities, right?
Okay.
Thank you so much for your intervention. And here I come to you. I'll come back to you again, Mariana. I would like to go to see Susan. Which type of CPD is more effective than the other one, and which one do you prefer? Of course, I can give you examples. An example like conferences, seminar, visits to other schools, peer teaching, peer observation, mentoring, degree programs, collaborative research, so on and so forth. Which one do you go for and why?
Actually, I go for an online course that lasts, for example, 15 days. And it is controlled by time computer, so it's going to be asynchronous. Because for me, I prefer this kind of online courses to others because the tasks are detailed, and you have got exercise and homework. So I feel as if I'm a student. I'm in the situation of my students. So I will feel the same as they're feeling when I'm giving them a homework or an exercise in class or at home. And then it is limited by time because I have to do that because, or else it's going to be maybe long, or I will forget some tasks to do or whatever. So it's really something, because for me, I like to be really tidy, neat, and time organized. I'm a kind of teacher. This kind of teacher I am.
The best kind of teacher.
I feel like
exactly. I agree.
So I prefer this kind of online courses, but also the workshops and seminars and discussion like this are very fruitful, especially with experts like you. I'm very happy to be with you here because I learned a lot from you. Actually, I'm taking a course. I'm talking to Gabrielle, if you allow me to. I'm taking a course on mindfulness. I'm trying to complete this course because I want to practice some mindful practices and tasks with my students. I find it somehow very fruitful. I tried it one task and it worked with my little ones, the students, my students. So I'm trying to finish this task. I hope it will work one day. We can really insert this kind of practice in our curriculum. Hope so one day. Thank you.
Thank you so much. And of course, the same question to Shushan. We haven't heard your voice for like
sometimes.
So the floor is yours.
You have got a very nice smile.
Yeah, exactly.
That's because of people. Actually wanted to say, you asked what's the driving force behind CPD, and I'm sitting here looking at you smiling, and my smile is actually coming from the fact that you are a source of CPD. Sorry to associate you with one, but actually people are always the greatest motivation. You are so inspiring because people are always the greatest source of motivation behind anything we do. And we don't teach robots, as you were saying, as in the beginning. Hopefully, I don't want to teach robots. I want to teach people, flesh and blood. And I really like that when I draw inspiration from them, they draw inspiration from me, I hope. And that's how this cycle goes on, because otherwise it doesn't work. You have to be interested in what you're doing because you can't fake the interest. Can you? I mean,
exactly.
It will
show. Someday it will show that you're not interested in what you're doing. So in terms of professional development, well, I am a board member of IELTA, which is an Armenian Association of English Language Teachers, and we're doing a lot of trainings. It's an NGO, so we're just a group of teachers. we do have an official status, but at the same time, we're not government funded, and we're doing a lot of trainings, which has personally allowed me to develop a lot the technological side. So I'm doing TOTs in technology and tools. I love that. And I'd say that when I'm teaching, I'm learning. So I never know if I'm the teacher or I'm the learner, because, actually back then when I was a university student, I came up to my professors and I said, please don't allow me to graduate. Just put me a bad mark, whatever. Because I have so much to learn. And they were like, you'll learn that when you're out there in the field working. But they're right. But luckily, having stayed in my university, I've never graduated. I think I just cheated the system. Now I'm on the opposite side, but I'm just learning, and we all are. When it comes to the CPD possibilities, there are many. I live in a tiny country, but let's face it. Right now, we're representing 3 continents, if I'm not mistaken. We're representing a variety of countries and different languages, and our situation, Gabriel, is much better than yours, I'm afraid, because even though Spanish and Portuguese are top languages in terms of people speaking them, very popular languages, there are so many resources for English. So if once you have the internet, all you need is time, in a way, because there is really no shortage of free resources for CPD, certificate-based, non-certificate-based, but teaching English is such a blessing. I don't know what people of minority languages do, because they simply don't have so much going on. And when there is a will, there is a way. But with English, and in the 21st century, given this internet, it's so easier, right? Would you agree, colleagues, with that?
Yeah. Right. I couldn't agree more. Yes. Well, of course. Thank you, Shushan. CPD is really a commitment. It's a commitment to keep thinking and reflecting upon your practices. You can do it in different ways. I would like to ask Sarah, which one do you prefer? Do you like to go to a conference or just study online? You don't want to go and meet people? Or yes, the floor is yours.
Everyone likes to go meet people, I guess. It's nice to connect with others. It's nice to exchange and meet new people. But I found what's easier is the online-based. When you talk about, as Shushan said, when you talk about online and the internet, you have the chance to meet so many people from all over the world. You have the chance to exchange with different cultures. You have the chance to talk with minds who think differently, to exchange with them, to think, how can I apply this to my context? What does it fit in my context and what does not? So the internet allows you to do that. So the online, whether it was online courses, whether it was a series of online workshops, meeting with so many people from all around the world, I think that was the best way for me to learn more, to step out from my bubble and to see new people, to think, to hear from them, to exchange from them. So this is the best method for us to learn, to challenge ourselves, challenge our minds, because it makes you, I think what's most important is the self-awareness, as what Gabriel was saying, because it makes you think in front of all of these cultures and all of these identities, who I am. And when you start thinking this way, and when you start thinking how to take this and apply it to my context, how to do it that fits the needs of my students, I think that's the best way for us to learn as teachers. So I would encourage these kinds of interactions, whatever kind of method that you are using. Even like when we talk about conferences, the international ones, where so many people can come together and meet together.
And share, right. And I think thank you, Sarah. I think that for me, I have really learned a lot from teachers who are more experienced than I am. And they were like giving me something that I really go and use in my classroom, like from starting from tomorrow, if I am teaching, and I have learned a lot, and I went to different conferences, but I didn't really bring so much things that I could use in my classroom. Here I would like to ask you, of course, how has CPD changed your or how has it affected your career? for me, of course, when of course the classes were shut down during this special circumstances, I didn't have any problem with teaching online, and there was like I knew how to edit videos, how to make use of different platforms like Zoom, like Microsoft Teams, while some of my other colleagues were struggling. And here I said, well, this is thanks to my previous the previous activities that I engaged in CPD. What about you guys? Would like to ask Gabriel, how has CPD affected your teaching practices?
Well, definitely a lot, because I've been learning different skills, to develop different skills. And something that you have said, that you learn from more experienced teachers, I've been learning a lot from younger teachers, because they have these skills of technology, and there's always something to learn from them. And yeah, that's fantastic. And if now I know how to teach online, it's not only because I've been taking some courses online or I've been watching some videos to learn how to do that. It's also because I've learned from this new generation of teachers.
That's great.
Yes, we recently had this workshop at school. It was conducted by one of our teachers, and she talked about new platforms. So it has definitely changing the way that I teach. Yeah.
And thank you, Gabriel. And here I come to Mariana. Same question. How has it affected your? Of course, you share the same idea. I'm not going to ask you again. Go ahead, please.
I totally agree with all of you. I have always been a face-to-face person. I like to go to seminars. I like to go to Congress to meet people, to talk. And now in pandemic times, things have been a little difficult in this field. So I'm looking for online resources, online webinars, and things like that. And I'm learning a lot, same quality of the face-to-face interactions. I have met new people. I have met you, and it's been a pleasure to be in these online platforms. But this is where I stand now in CPD. I have to learn how to deal with platforms. Because I have never taught online. I have taken courses, but it's a little bit different when you are taking the course and when you are providing it. So this is where I stand now. I'm doing some courses on how to deal with that, how to be an online teacher. And it's been great because this is what I said before. It's about what my teacher needs. And this is something that my teacher needs now. My student needs it now. So I'm looking to improve my skills so that I can give it to them, right? A better class, a better teacher, a teacher who is more engaged with technology.
Can help them, right? So here I come to Susan. Same, you have been teaching for a long time, I think, as you told me. And of course, I would like to know how has it impacted your practices, let's suppose that you haven't been active and you haven't had any opportunity to engage in CPD. Would you be the same teacher as you are today?
Absolutely not. Absolutely not. So see, CPD has really influenced me a lot. From the first CPD, from the first online course that I took years ago, everything changed. First, in my perception to the learners themselves. I mean, I started to think about my learners more. I want them to improve more. I want them to achieve more. And of course, I always thought that CPDs, online courses, workshops, and even the textbook and the curriculum are only a means for me to achieve, to improve my learners' skills, and to build new learners, new citizens. These citizens who are critical thinkers, they believe in collaboration, in teamwork, they are creative and innovative. So, as a result, I have to be innovative to create these innovative learners.
Exactly.
So that's what CPD did to me. It changed me. I was something, and now I am really But see,
You can see the
not
difference
stop.
now, yeah.
Yeah, I will not stop learning. I will not say that I acquired everything, never, because I am a lifelong learner and I would like to really put this idea in my learners' little minds.
Exactly right.
That's really,
Those who
thank you.
stop, as the saying, famous saying goes, those who stop learning stop growing, right? And of course, I would like to hear from both of you, Sarah and Shushan. Let's start with Sarah. Same question: how has it impacted you? Of course, you are a novice teacher, as I am, right? You are three. You've been teaching for 3 years, and now I'm teaching for 4 years. Do you see that there is any change, from those online courses that you took, conferences that you attended?
Thinking 3 years ago, I'm not only not the same teacher, but I'm not the same person. Because when you learn more, when you attend CPD, you learn more. You take this step to unlearn some things, some ideas that doesn't fit in your context, and then replace them with these new ideas. So that takes a huge step from everyone. And these 3 years, I've been learning so much on how to improve myself, how to meet my students' needs, because I teach students who are not the same background as mine. So I'm dealing with people in a different community with different backgrounds. So how can I deal with them, and how should I understand them, and to meet their needs and to meet their wants, and to be able to equip them, empower them? I need to change some certain concepts that are stuck in my mind, that only fits in my context, that only fits if I was teaching people they come from the same background as mine, and to be able to understand them and to educate them in the way that they need, not what I need. So CPD has to meet the needs of my students. So I think the realization of that was very important, because from now on, I know that I'm going on the right path. And I need so much to learn, and I have so much to learn, but I know that I'm going through the right path right now.
Thank you so much, Sarah. Now to you, Shushan. Go ahead, please.
Sosan, I wanted to say that actually you have summed up my quest for empathy cultivation, because what you said, I think it's empathy cultivation, like how you start understanding people better. So I really like that idea. Thank you so much for sharing that. It's ingenious. And to all of you, my colleagues, I'd like to say, imagine a typical, let's face it, truth be said, it's like a 10-hour working day. You are teaching all day long, and you're squeezed and drained and tired and exhausted and whatever. And then in the evenings, you go to a teacher training event, which is the case in my country often. So it's after the working hours. And then you sit back, and someone is finally teaching you, and someone finally has to control it. I think that's beautiful. And I also like doing it on the same day, because it allows me to switch and to understand. And then I'm saying, see, they're doing the same you were doing. So you made them bored. Now it's life is fair, or you were making them more on a positive spectrum, if we speak like that. But that allows for self-reflection, because if to restate whatever I've been saying, if we are not learners, then we are not teachers. It's a two-sided coin, and we need to flip that coin in a way. So that's how it has affected me. Thanks.
All right, that's great. I have always been, as I said earlier, I said that I learned more from experienced teachers, and of course I do agree with Gabriel that you can also learn from novice teachers, and you can learn from everyone. Like Sosan said earlier, you can learn from your students, and you can learn from Facebook, or from any platform. And teaching for us is not only inside the classroom, but we start teaching outside our classrooms when we are home, and when we are having our breakfast. If we have a morning session, of course we are thinking about the how the session will go, definitely. And this is, I would like to ask Sosan, do you think that teachers should get together and create like communities in their areas in order to share activities and share thoughts about their practices, practical activities that each one of them can use inside the classrooms. To what extent do you agree or disagree?
Well, in my area, talking about my area, I'm running a group of English teachers where we post tests, exercises, websites, any good practice that may help each other. But the problem is you will be facing with many constraints. As for example, some teachers are not really interested in that. They are taking materials and they don't share. The second constraint is that, not all teachers are interested to join in as well. You cannot oblige them. Because, it's free, it's a voluntary work. I'm doing it only for English teachers in my area. But I have another idea. I'm trying to build another community which is going to be official. Trying to contact the ministry that all the English teachers can have an account, official account, but only for English teachers, you see. But it's going to be really very hard. I have to follow all the procedures, because this is not really easy. But I always believe that sharing is caring. When I share materials, in return, at least as English teachers, you can also share yours. And sharing good practices is really very helpful. Why not? And we can share our practice with all other English teachers all over the world. Why not?
Yeah,
this
definitely.
is, of course, for the sake of collaboration and improving our learner skills.
Right. Thank you so much, Samson. Gabriel, do you have something like this in your area, like teachers getting together, sharing ideas and thoughts in a very either official or unofficial way?
Maybe it's not official. We try to do that. We try to learn from different institutions, and because I do believe that collaborative learning is really fundamental. I mean, it's really important. But we are trying to do that. I've recently joined some classes from a teacher in Ukraine, and we are sharing, experiences, and it has been a really great.
We would like to say hi to Maria. Maybe she's watching us now.
I'm here because of Maria, first place. And yeah, absolutely.
Yeah, so that's wonderful.
Yeah, and because I do believe that when we share experiences and information, it's much better, because sometimes we spend a lot of time trying to find, to figure out some solutions, to sort out some situations, but there's someone else somewhere that has that solution or that has that experience.
Right.
So this is the most important thing. Yeah.
Thank you so much, Gabriel. Mariana, I have something in mind, is that teachers can also conduct research inside their classrooms, and for me, I say that my classroom is a laboratory where I can try new things and a lot of things, from now and then, and of course I need to reflect on those through writing, and of course the best way is to conduct research. Do you think this is one of the efficient ways through which we can have very good reflective teachers, and at the same time, of course, we are fully engaged in CPD?
Totally, yeah. Classroom is a lab. We try new things, and we see the results we have from that. It's going to work or not. If it works, I can do it again with a different perspective to the other groups, because as we know,
and they can share it, of course, with my colleagues. That's the number one thing, of course.
Yeah, and then we're going to share, and all this sharing we have, maybe we can have to make some adjustment because culture and space and time and things like that. But of course, and as Gabriel said, sometimes I have a problem that you have already faced and that you have already solved so you can help me there. So
exactly, I would love to. I would.
I totally think that collaborative is the key to make it easier for us, and we can think together. I surely think that one person thinking and two people thinking is going to be faster, or results are going to be better. And I really like to count on people to make my work better. I
yes, and they have always, when I talk to my colleagues, I have always had this idea is that our establishments, whether we work with a government schools or private schools, that these establishments or these people we work with should be responsible for at least funding our research. It's not easy to conduct a very scientific research as it should be, right? And of course, as we all suffer from this, and this is a worldwide shared phenomenon. Of course, what I am aiming at here, being underpaid. I would like to ask Sarah, don't you think that conducting research is one of the most important ways of CPD, and one of probably could be for me as effective ways of CPD?
Yes, because when you conduct a research, you're asking yourself the questions. You're going through the entire process. So it makes you realize what are the things that work, what should I do, what's the next step.
Exactly.
So conducting research is very important because it makes you go through the scientific method. It makes you really live the scientific method and go through it, not only teach it. And that comes from my background in biology. So I think it's really important, but sometimes we really need that help because not everyone is able to conduct a research and to do it in the right way, especially if someone who hasn't taken their master's degree or hasn't done a thesis, or so they don't know really how to go through the steps. So having someone to support you there, you need that.
Exactly, yes.
To start the research in the proper way. But it's very important as a CPD for a lot of teachers, and if it should be actually something that to help all teachers do that, whether they're doing their masters, whether they're doing their thesis or not. But we should help teachers and make them aware that they have to research, because when we go to the classroom, we need to reflect on what we did, how did it go, what are the points of improvement, what was very effective, and then we need to go and share and listen to others. So this is all part of the research process. So if we go through it, because we are going through it, but when you go through it and you are aware of going through it, then you can really improve your strategies and help others around you.
Thank you so much. And here I come to Shushan. I would like to conclude with you. There is one comment I would like you to read here by Adriana Whitehartberg. She says that I don't know how this is related to our discussion, but I can see what her point. Teachers aren't open to receive bad feedback. She wants to say negative feedback. Feedback could be positive or negative. I would like you to comment on her comment.
Adriana, thank you so much. That's a lovely question, I think. And the thing is, that's something I've been having in my mind. Look, we came here on a voluntary basis. We're spending our time with pleasure, trying to improve more, right? How do you force people to do that? There are two ways. A, it's a government that says you need this and that number of credits. If you don't, you'll be fired, which is a harsh message. And I'm a little bit against that.
That's the hard way.
Yeah, but that's a draconic measure, but it does exist. The other one is when you do it on your own because you're willing to change. And I think the most important thing is that if you accept you have something to learn, you'll not see feedback as negative. You'll see it as positive. Right. If you don't accept it, then we think that the problem is lack of confidence. And lack of confidence is something that a community of teachers can help you with. I mean, when I was just starting to teach, and I was working with linguists, very advanced level, and they were just like 2 years younger than me. So they remembered me as a student. And I was basically appointed their professor. So they asked me words that I didn't know. And I was shocked. I pretended I knew them. I was trying to do this and that. And I was so unhappy about that. Right now, when I'm asked if I don't know a word, I would say, if I know a word, I would say, I don't know that word. Let's look for it together. Yeah. You will be surprised at how happy people are when you don't know it all, when you're just a human being like them. And maybe that
Exactly.
idea that has saved my life in a way, at least my worries, and to some extent Adriana can work with the negative feedback, turn it into, take it into some way of saying, see, I'm human, and I'm beautifully human.
So yes, Susan, go ahead, please. You want to say something?
Yeah, when someone gives you a feedback, either, especially when we are talking about that feedback, you can take it as a gift. You said, okay, it's a gift for me, it's for free, and it's for me to improve. And I always teach this idea to my students when they correct each other mistakes. So I said, okay, you accept the gift from your friend because it's a gift for you that you're going to improve. So this kind of idea really matters to me a lot, to teach the students the meaning of tolerance and accepting each other as we are. This is very, very important. So if I accept the feedback, it's okay. It's okay. I'm going to improve after all.
Exactly. So I don't think there is something that is bad or negative. You know, there is something. You know, there is always something to learn from someone who gives you something that about or tells you something about your practices. Of course, be it negative or positive. And here we. Yes, Gabriel, go ahead. Go ahead, Gabriel.
I think that we need to be thankful when we have feedback, because when either good or bad, because positive or negative, because when we don't have feedback, we don't have information about what we need to improve, what we need to learn. So when we have feedback, oh, it's perfect. So now I know what I need to work on.
Yeah. So. Exactly. Thank you. I think if anyone, if anyone wants to say something, go ahead, please. And they would like to ask you to say one last word. I think I would love to conclude this session. It's been wonderful talking to you guys and hearing from you, Sarah, Mariana, Susan, Gabriel, Shushan. One word for each, and about the whole thing. One last recommendation. What do you want to say to teachers? What do you want to say to yourself, maybe to everybody who is teaching or who is willing to teach? Would like to start from Shushan.
Well, I would like to, before we start, I have a request to you, Aziz. Please also say in the end, when you sum up, say your idea as well, because you have so many fantastic ideas, but you get to ask us questions, so we want to ask you questions too. Please share this line with us. We know you have a lot to share. So I would say, if I were talking to teachers out there, I would say languages themselves are often built on mistakes. As you know, they etymologically come on, we have false translators, false friends, we have mistaken forms that have become the norm, we have dialects and this and that, so no one knows what the real norm is. If languages are imperfect, why do we have to be perfect? I like being imperfect, I like being the imperfect language teacher of the imperfect languages, and I think that we should view our students as colleagues with whom we're working. So we're constantly trying to improve. If you have CPD, if you have continuous professional development, it means you are working and you are a professional. So there is a compliment hidden in that word, which is professional. Take that compliment and enjoy it. And thank you so much. This has been a fantastic platform.
Thank you so much. Wonderful. Gabriel?
Well, I just want to say that CPD is really important, and I encourage all teachers to commit in CPD. And something really relevant, there are a lot of courses, a lot of workshops, but try to think out of the box. Enroll in different activities that will help you deal with the students. So enroll in different workshops, not only about, like directly about education, but different areas, for example, about creativity, different things about psychology, why not, that will help you become a better person and a better teacher.
Thank you so much, Gabriel. Susan, go ahead, please.
I would like to give a special note of thanking to you, Aziz, for this session. And thanks a lot to all of you, my dear colleagues. It was a pleasure meeting you and learning from you. Very nice ideas, very innovative ideas as well, that added a lot to myself, to my humble career. So my last words will be keep up the good work and never give up CPD.
Exactly. Thank you so much, Susan. Sarah, go ahead, please.
CPD is very important because it teaches us about ourselves and about our students. So I encourage everyone to engage in that and to be creative in teaching, because teaching doesn't have to be always like certain, you have to teach this way, so you're not allowed to teach another way. Be creative as much as you can. Put whatever interests you in your education, in your teaching styles, and it will surprise you. The results will surprise you.
Exactly. Thank you so much, Sarah. Mariana, it's your turn.
Okay, I'd like to thank you very much for this invitation, and to all of you. As I said, I have learned a lot from you all. I'm not the same person I was 1 hour and 15 minutes ago. I really learned a lot from you. Thank you very, very much. And I think that the CPD is moving along with the world. So if I could say something is this, let's keep moving. Let's keep walking along with our students, with ourselves, with the world. It's important not to be stuck in the same place. So CPD, for me, it's just walking along and changing and moving.
Thank you so much. Thank you so much again, guys, for Sarah, Mariana, Susan, Gabriel, Shushan, for being here and sharing with us your thoughts. You have been really wonderful. I have learned a lot, and just we also need to remember that we are teachers. We really touch lives and we change lives, whether we like it or not, either positively or negatively. So let's hope that we could change them positively. And of course, this couldn't have been done through without, of course, engaging in CPD activities. Thank you so much, guys, and I would like to say have a good time. And of course, if it is late at night, we are sorry. Especially Shushan, it's like 1 a.m. in the morning. Probably now it's 2 a.m. in the morning. Thank you so much, guys, and bye bye, and see you inshallah in
Thank you to
other
the
activities.
listeners also. Thank you
Thank you so much.
everyone.
Goodbye, everyone. Thank you so
Bye-bye.
much. Goodbye.
Bye-bye.
Bye-bye. Bye-bye.
Bye.